Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our program. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Don Huck, who is with Talking Books Plus. Welcome to the program, Don.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey, why don't you share with us a little bit about your background and then what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I've many years ago, I started collecting books, and it's something that I've been doing ever since out of high school. I love reading and started collecting, and I needed to fulfill my collections of different books that I was reading, and ended up finding a used bookstore. I'm originally from New York, and I found a small family-run bookstore out in Long Island that was satisfying my need of mystery thrillers that I was collecting. And the minute I walked into the store, I got a sense internally of this is what I want to do with, for the rest of my life, which is to supply other people with books, because I just felt like there was a great atmosphere. It was something that people loved coming into this particular bookstore, that it was family run, and it was geared towards an area of my life that I loved. However, at that time, I was working for a travel company, and I was in no position at that point to go ahead and open up a store. It was just not the right time. But I kept thinking about this particular business in the back of my mind, kept writing it out, seeing what it might look like, and coming up with different ideas. Eventually, the company I worked for moved me out to Colorado from New York, and a few years after moving out here to Colorado, I was let go because of the economic changes that was going on. And it gave me the opportunity to really look at the possibility of having a bookstore. So I was looking for chances of working for a bookstore. I kind of tried to get work at Borders and Barnes & Noble. I ended up working for a woman that owned a small used bookstore for a couple of months. And then out of the blue, I found an ad for a place called Talking Books Plus. They were looking for some part-time help, and I decided, hey, let me give it a shot. Turns out that they were looking for somebody with managerial skills and somebody who loved books. It was a perfect match, and I started working for this older fellow who had this location. And then about 3 years into working for him, he came to me. He knew about my wants about opening up a bookstore of my own, and he came to me and he said, I want to retire. I want to get out. What do you think? What would you like to do? Which, surprise, surprise, my dream came true 25 years after the fact. So with my wife, who also worked in the travel industry for a number of years, we decided to go feet first into owning the bookstore. That's kind of how I ended up with the store. We've owned it now for about 11 years. And the thing of it is, it's not just a regular bookstore. It's an audio bookstore. And we're kind of unique with what we do in the fact that we take audiobooks and we make them available for rent, which nobody else has ever thought of doing. So,
that is unique. And so the entire bookstore is only audio, or do you have a mixture?
Yeah, well, it was for up until last year, it was just audio. And we've been in business since this store's been around with the original owner starting back in 1999. We're working on celebrating our 17th year in business. Last year, we decided to rearrange the store a little bit and bring in paper and hardback books. And these are going to be used books that people have traded with us, donated to us, books that I've picked up over the years that are not part of the collection that I've got. But other than that, I would say 80% of the books we have are audio, and the model that we use is kind of the old Blockbuster / Netflix idea, where you can come in and rent an audio book for a week if you're going on a road trip, or what most people do is if you start listening to an audio book, it becomes something you want to do all the time. And so we offer things like a club membership, kind of like a gym membership, only you're more able to do that on a regular basis, where people can get unlimited rentals with no due dates or late fees. And that model has worked really well for us over the years. We have customers who have been with us since 1999 using our services.
And so when I hear no late fees, that makes me scared for you, because what if something just never comes back or is months and months out? What do you notice about that? What has been the history of?
I would say, that's a good point. We do have an occasional customer here and there that never returns their book. We then have to call them up, send letters, follow up with them, find out why. Sometimes they would have just forgotten they had it, or there was something in their life that happened that, they've forgotten about the membership, they've moved, but it's such a small percentage of the people that we have. Most people, when you're paying for a membership, they are going to use it. And we do try to keep in contact with them as well. About every 6 months, we go through a list to see how things are going. And, if we see somebody holding on to books for a long time, we do contact them and go, hey, might be worth you bringing the book in and keep using your membership as that's what you've paid for. But we've had a small percentage of that, but it really is not the biggest issue we have to worry about.
Yeah. And then do you have a limit of how many books people can check out at one time?
It's broken down by what we do as far as the rentals in store is that we take the CDs and put them into plastic cases, kind of like a video store used to do, only with audiobooks. They can range anywhere from 1 CD to, I believe Atlas Shrugged is 48 CDs. So we will separate them at a cutoff point of 8 CDs. And so any book more than 8, we put them into plastic cases. So the customer, the member, has to decide then how many cases do they want to have out at one time. Most will go 1 or 2 cases, because that'll be the average of what each book will consist of. And so when they sign up for a membership plan or a club plan, they choose how many cases they want to have out at a time. If they need extra for a road trip, depending on their program that they sign up to, we'll give them a couple extra for the year. If not, then it's just a regular weekly rate for any additional. But so we offer the club plans based on how many cases they want to have out and what length, what club plan they want to use.
And then you are a physical store, but do you have any, like you mentioned Netflix, where we know that they have streaming or they have where they'll mail it in and out. Do you have any type of capability that way, or are you just a physical?
Yes, no. We have our website, and with the website, people can sign up online with us, and there we offer a month-by-month again, no limit, no late fee program. They can either sign up for a month, 3 months, 6 months, or a year plan. And we send them with a return postage label included. So again, it's a pretty easy system. They would go to the website, sign up, choose the plan they want to have. And then they would choose the books they want, just like Netflix. We would then mail the books from our location in little cardboard boxes with return postage label already included. When they get done with one book, they mail it back. We go down the list to the next available book and mail the next one out to them.
That's really interesting. because I know that we've all heard of Netflix, but I just love that it's really specific to audiobooks. So, and then I did see that news story that came out about you guys where it's talking about, if you're stuck in traffic or heading out on the road, that's such a great way to pass the time. So I'm sure that that's a great way to get people thinking about, the long commutes or long vacations. So that's really wonderful. What have you found? I know that you mentioned some of your people have been with you since day one. What have you found from more and more of those people as far as the longevity of sticking with your program?
Well, I think because of the fact that we pride ourselves on getting the newest books in all the time, and they love the fact that after even just a few months, our staff here gets to know the customers on a friendly basis. And they become like family because once you see somebody on a regular basis, week after week after week, it's pretty easy to get to know the people, know what their likes and dislikes are. In some instances, I've got some people that just come in and go, do you have this book? Or they'll ask some of us, so what's next? What's my next book I want to do? This kind of thing. And it gets to be almost a joke because, again, we are so tuned into what kind of books they like. It makes it really easy and fun for them to come to the store and drop off the next book and then go and choose something else or just ask for a suggestion. The other thing we've been doing over the years is sending out newsletters, telling people what's going on at the store, giving them updates on new books that have come in, and trying to be also socially aware of things going on in the community. I think that has a large part to do with it as well. But we like to make people feel at home when they come to the location here. We had up until November 2 cats that roam the store. We are pet friendly here. So again, it becomes a community. It becomes a family, which makes things a little bit different than going into, say, a Barnes & Noble or getting books online.
Yeah, it really does. Kind of like a community feel. That's really neat. So what is your personal favorite business books, and have you thought of a lesson that you've pulled out from them over the years?
Yes, I've done quite a few education and personal growth books and business books. I would say, of course, the classic Think and Grow Rich has so much value still in today's market. I refer back to that probably once every 2 years. I'll re-listen to it. The one after that, I really love Seth Godin's ideas about marketing. I believe Purple Cow was one that I found really interesting. He's got some great ideas. There's been so many that I've listened to. I try to glean a little bit from each book. It's funny because there is so many books come out on things like selling and sales and marketing that there's so many different ideas that you really have to find what works for you. It's what I've been recently doing is going back through Brian Tracy's work. And because I always felt that he was the most succinct and to the point without a lot of fluff and just gets down to what you can really be doing as far as goal setting goes really getting it down to the brass tacks as to what to do to make your business the best it can be.
Yeah, I love Brian Tracy, and years ago I saw him speak, and I picked up something that I've heard over the years, but I always attribute it back to him, where he said to the audience, what's your favorite radio station? Have you heard him speak of that before?
No, I hadn't, no.
So, and I've used this a few times when I've done presentations, and one time there was a radio representative in the audience, and so I said, okay, I'm going to ask everyone's favorite radio station, and it's not your station, and they were laughing, and they were given examples. Oh, it's KOA or whatever, and so I said, nope, it's WIIFM. What's in it for me? And I think that when we can think about that from a customer standpoint, so you with books, what's in it for them? Well, uniqueness And convenience is what I'm hearing that you offer, because with the mailing and the back and forth, and then also once they're introduced to your brand, now if they're in the area, they can come in and see you, and then now get, a little bit deeper into that, like as Seth Godin calls it, the tribes.
Right. Absolutely. And it's one thing we're doing this year that we should be doing kind of a re-grand opening next month, is we've consolidated a lot of the books that we offer for rent and opening up the back of the store to have an area where we will be doing local book authors stopping by, book signings, book clubs, something that I've been getting real good positive response for. So to make it even more of a community-based area. The minute I mentioned that in a newsletter a month or two ago, I got so many wonderful responses on it that we've opened up enough space to fit probably 12 to 20 people, and it's something that, again, keep the community involved, get more people in to use this as a resource. So it's something I'm looking forward to.
Really good. Awesome. Hey, so do you have any personal mentors that you have looked to over the years? You mentioned a few speakers, like authors, but what about personal mentors?
Actually, the one mentor, this woman, Elizabeth McCarthy, she was the first bookstore owner that I went to. She was somebody I worked for. Like I mentioned, she owned a small little used bookstore and survived with very little marketing. And her bookstore stayed around for about, 15 to 20 years. And she kind of taught me the ropes as far as how to handle used books, how to handle customers. And so I looked to her. Now she's gone on, she's retired, but I do stay in touch with her and keep her in mind for questions about that. As far as anybody else right now, it's kind of, I've been going with using the people that, that made an impact for everybody, the people that I've listened to and read over the years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really good. So is there a piece of advice that you would give entrepreneurs in any industry, not just books, but in getting started? Because you gave a great explanation of kind of having that goal in mind, and kind of like the Think and Grow Rich, you have that one goal and then you focus on that and you have that desire, and then you tend to then make some plans, like how Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind, and you kind of work backwards. But is there any advice that you can think of that you would give to entrepreneurs starting out?
Yes. I will first say that there are always going to be peaks and valleys, and there's going to be good times and bad. What you always want to do is keep looking forward, keep on point, and think big. Because if you don't think big, then even it's never going to be there unless you think big enough that it's going to. So even if you fail, you're going to get at least halfway. But always keep the end result in mind and push for it. I did have a fellow that I worked under at this travel company for over 18 years, and the one thing he said before he left the company to retire was keep pushing, no matter what. And have that desire, have that impulse to just keep getting better and better and staying on point. I know I wrapped a whole bunch of different ideas there, but the main thing is, you're going to have bad times and good, and you want to keep going forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, so what's the best way that people can learn more about your service and your business? What's your website?
Yeah, the website is simply called talkingbooksplus.com. The 3 words run together, talkingbooksplus.com. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/talkingbooksplus. I do a lot of updates on Facebook. And our phone number, it's 303-969-8848. And if they want to email me directly as well, it's don@talkingbooksplus.com.
Excellent, Don. Well, hey, it was really wonderful getting to know you and your great, unique business. I am a book lover myself, and I really appreciate what you do to keep that going in the community. So thank you so much for your time, and wish you all the best.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.